Today, the word that best describes our founding fathers' view on religion is Omnist. Defined, it is one who recognizes and respects all religions or lack thereof. This Jefferson quote says the same in an amusing way.
It does me no injury for my neighbor to say there are 20 gods or no God. It neither picks my pocket or breaks my leg.
Jefferson also said,
Freedom of religion is the most inalienable and sacred of all human rights.
Our founding fathers clearly understood how important religious freedom is to the free will of the people. In the late 18th century, when our founders were gathering, history had provided centuries of evidence that governments ruled by religious authority repeatedly failed to provide for the needs of the people. Religious tyranny had even left its scars in the early New England colonies. In 1630, Roger Williams, a Puritan minister, left England to escape religious intolerance. But in Massachusetts, courts were punishing people for breaking the Ten Commandments. So Williams spoke out against it. He also spoke out against the practice of taking land from the Indians without paying. When a court ordered that he be removed from his church position, it was again time to move elsewhere. So Roger Williams left Massachusetts with a few faithful followers, traveled 50 miles south, and bought land from the Indians. There he started a place of religious refuge, a place where people could have what he called liberty of conscience. Williams said,
God requireth not a uniformity of religion.
Providence, Rhode Island became a safe haven for Baptists, Quakers, Jews, and other religious minorities, and Roger Williams has been called the father of religious freedom. The opinions of many of our founders on the subject of religion are recorded in history. There is one quote in particular that expressed very strong words against theocracies. An anonymous person said,
During almost 15 centuries has the legal establishment of Christianity been on trial. What have been its fruits? More or less in all places, pride and indolence in the clergy, ignorance and servility in the laity, in both superstition, bigotry, and persecution.
His words were so strong that he stayed anonymous for 40 years. A few quotes from the first four presidents confirm separation of church and state was the overwhelming consensus. George Washington said it plain and simply.
The United States is in no sense founded upon Christian doctrine.
In 1797, our second president, John Adams, endorsed a treaty of peace and friendship with the Muslim country of Tripoli. The treaty contained these paraphrased words.
As the government of the United States of America is not, in any sense, founded on the Christian religion, it has no hostility against Muslims, and no pretext arising from religious opinions shall ever produce an interruption of the harmony existing between the two countries.
In 1802, in his historic Danbury letter, our third president, Thomas Jefferson, said,
Religion is a matter which lies solely between man and his God, that he owes account to none other for his faith or his worship, that the legitimate powers of government reach actions only and not opinions. I contemplate with sovereign reverence that act of the whole American people which declared that their legislature should make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, thus building a wall of separation between church and state.
Our fourth president, James Madison, was also an advocate for the separation of church and state. In a letter he once sent to Jefferson, he said,
I flatter myself we have in this country extinguished forever the ambitious hope of making laws for the human mind.
After the Constitution was framed, the need to document our rights became apparent. So James Madison was selected to create the Bill of Rights. The first freedom he mentioned was religion, and it reads,
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof.
The implication of its prominent placement at the top of the list is an acknowledgement that he clearly understood how important religion was to the people. 30 years later, in 1819, the Great American Experiment had had a few years to be time-tested. Madison noted the impact of religious freedom, so he said,
"The number, the industry, and the morality of the priesthood and the devotion of the people have been manifestly increased by the total separation of the church and the state."
This was quite a change of opinion for Madison, because in 1826 he admitted that he was the anonymous author that so harshly criticized the history of theocracies. Our founders established a system of government where, despite our different ideologies or interests, all Americans can live in peace, or simply said, coexist.